Good morning. This week's Sidra of Beshalach, the Jewish people are stranded at the Yam Suf, at the sea. They have the sea on the one hand, an impassable barrier. They have the Egyptian army chasing up to them. The Torah tells us that the Jewish people are terrified. V'yitzaku el Hashem, and they cry out to Hashem. Some of them turn to Moshe, where there are no graves in Egypt. Why have you taken us out to die in the desert? We would rather be slaves, at least we'd be alive. And Hashem says to Moshe, Ma titzak alai. Why are you crying out to me? Daber b'nei Yisrael v'yisau, speak to the Jewish people and they should travel. And the first question is, we don't see Moshe crying out to Hashem. Hashem asks Moshe, why are you crying? In other words, this is not the time to cry out to me. You need to go, but we don't see Moshe davening. So the first answer is that of the Ibn Ezra, where he says, Hashem wasn't speaking to Moshe as a private individual. He was conveying to Moshe a message for the Jewish people. You, Moshe, as the leader of the Jewish people, you are the people who are crying out to me. This is not the time to cry. The response to the Jewish people is we need to move, not v'yitzaku es Hashem, el Hashem, that we should daven to Hashem. That fits in very nicely with the text. However, Rashi, following the Midrash, says that even though it's not stated in the text, the fact that Hashem asks Moshe, why is he davening, must be that Moshe was praying to Hashem. Moshe also cried out to Hashem. And Hashem was saying again, this is not the time to cry out. Well, then the question obviously is, if this is not the time to cry out, when the entire Jewish people are in danger, then what on earth is the time? When would it possibly be appropriate to pray to Hashem? What, when everything's fine, but in trouble we shouldn't pray to Hashem? So the Netzev says, you should understand, this is how I read the Netzev, that prayer is something that channels the power of Hashem into this world. Whenever the Jewish people fight a war, even if Hashem has told them to fight this war, and even if they have a promise from Hashem that they will be victorious, they pray to Hashem because they need to connect Hashem into this world. They need to draw on the strength of Hashem into this world with their prayers. Here, however, is different. When it's something like this which is completely miraculous, the presence of Hashem is already so real and so felt and so clear. No prayer is needed. You don't need to channel anything. Hashem is here doing the miracles, so let's just go for it. So prayer he sees as a way of bringing Hashem's power into the world, which 99 times out of 100 is what needs to be done. But here we can see that Hashem's presence is already with us. The Maharal of Prague takes a slightly different approach, and I think this is supported in the words of the Midrash, is that he says, Hashem's question isn't why are you davening at all, but it's, lo eit ata leharich b'tfilah. This is not the time to extend prayers. You see, sometimes it's necessary to pray for a long time, sometimes just a short one. The prayer that Moshe prayed, the longest prayer session that we see in the entire Torah, is after the golden calf. Moshe goes up to Mount Sinai, 40 days and 40 nights. Praying for the survival and the continuity of the Jewish people. There are times when you need a real extended period for soul searching, for redefining the relationship, to work out what it was that the Jewish people did wrong and how it is that we're going to put it right. Taking like 40 days to do that. There are times that we have Rosh Hashanah, Yom Kippur, spend hours and hours and hours in shul. There's a lot that we need to work through and work out and talk to Hashem about. But we find sometimes the prayer should be very, very short. Shortest prayer in the entire Torah, 5-word prayer that Moshe says, Kel na rafa na la. Please God, heal her now, in reference to his sister Miriam. That's it. That's the short prayer. That's all that's needed. And this time when the Jewish people are in danger is not a time for a long extended prayer. Yes, you need to connect to Hashem. Yes, all our help always comes from Hashem. But once you have asked Hashem for that help, then move. Don't do it without prayer. Don't ever forget for a second that everything we do and everything we have and everything we achieve, it's the power of Hashem being made manifest in our lives. Pray to Hashem. But sometimes prayer can become an abdication of our own responsibility. It can become an avoiding or delaying tactic for us stepping up ourselves to do what we're supposed to do, to actually making that power of Hashem manifest. And so when Hashem's saying to Moshe, don't keep davening. You've said it, you've prayed, you've acknowledged my prayers, you've appealed to me for help. Now you need to go out and do it. And the Balaturim adds something wonderful. He says, if you look at the way that Hashem said it, somebody asked me, why does Hashem say, Ma titzakalai? Why are you crying out to me with this kind of rhetorical question? Just say, Al titzakalai. Please do not call out to me now. This is not a time for prayer. Balaturim says the letter is Ma, Mem, Hey. Mem has the numerical value of 40. Hey has a numerical value of 5. Hashem is saying, Moshe, there are two kinds of prayers. There's the prayer of 40 days of Mount Sinai, long prayer. The prayer of 5 words that you say for Miriam. So the 3 points are that when Hashem speaks to Moshe, sometimes he's not speaking to Moshe the person. Sometimes he's speaking to the Jewish people. The second one is that prayer channels Hashem's power into this world, and when Hashem's power already in the world, so then prayer is unnecessary. The third one is a time for a short prayer and to get on with it, time for a long prayer and to really work it through. This was a time for a short prayer. Shabbat Shalom.